can can opposite gender friendship lead to spiritual paralysis or distraction from your walk with God? Or first of all, when we talk about becoming friends with the opposite gender, do we just say as Christians I can only befriend a gender that we are of the same sex or the same gender? Do I have to be friends with a female gender like I am, or do you have to just be friends with a male gender? Please, can we, Mr. Inowa, can we talk on that?
So you can have a relationship, yeah, you can have a friendly relation as friends, but there are some things that you do that blurs the line, which also will definitely lead to a problem with your spiritual life.
You know that, before you become friends with an opposite gender, and the way your spiritual life was. The way your spiritual life was before. So when you see that you can no longer pray the way you used to pray before, you no longer read the Bible the way you used to read before, you no longer evangelize the way you used to do before, and the things of God in your life as if they are going down the drain, you know that something is really happening. And then when you can trace it to the friendship that we call like a platonic friendship is now sapping your spiritual energy. You know that it's time to cut off from that.
Hello everyone, I'm your host Amatogeria. Welcome to this episode of Gospel Diaries, a platform where you get inspiring, exciting, enriching and edifying content. And I'm here to encourage you to kindly subscribe to this YouTube channel and kindly turn off your notification buttons, where you're going to get notifications when new contents come up. Thank you so much. Please subscribe. Thank you.
Hello everyone, welcome to Gospel Diaries Season 3, where faith meets real life. I'm your host, Amoto Rebecca Gloria. So today we are diving into questions many Christians silently wrestle with, which is it truly possible to be just friends with someone of the opposite gender without catching feelings and without it weakening your spiritual affair or your spiritual fire? So I'm here with my guests. They can introduce themselves, but here we have Inowa and Israel. Mr. Inowa, please, can you introduce yourself?
Right, thank you. My name is Victor Daniel Inowa. Oh, okay, thank you. My name is Victor Daniel Inowa, and I'm a cybersecurity professional, also intelligence and security analyst and professional.
Thank you very much. Mr. Israel, go on, please.
My name is Israel Akuba, and I'm a core member. I'm aspiring to be a crypto trader, a pro trader.
Today we have our tech guru. Both of them are actually into tech. So thank you so much for joining us in this show. So this is going to be like an interactive session because it's a question that many Christians are battling with, when it comes to relationships and your spiritual affair. So going into the spiritual angle first. So I would like us to deliberate, or I might be pointing out to answer questions. So my first question, or my first how do I put it now, bone of contention now is, can opposite gender friendship lead to spiritual paralysis or distraction from your walk with God? Or first of all, when we talk about becoming friends with the opposite gender, do we just say as Christians I can only befriend a gender that we are of the same sex or the same gender? Do I have to be friends with a female gender like I am, or do you have to just be friends with a male gender? Please, can we, Mr. Inowa, can we talk on that?
Really, yeah. Yes and no. No and yes. There's a very thin line between having a relation. There's a very thin line there's a very thin line between having a relationship between a man and a woman, a girl and a boy, male and female, right? Also, you can have a relationship, yeah, you can have a friendly relationship as friends, but there are some things that you do that blurs the line, which also can will definitely lead to a problem with your spiritual life. Yes, there are. What so the only thing I can say in this here right now, or as of now for this short time, is that you just need to know your limits. Know the limits. You need to have a bar in which you put, you need to
Like a boundary.
A boundary, not just from your spiritual life, even in your moral life. Apart from your spiritual life, let's just even remove the spiritual life. Of course, we cannot remove the spiritual life, but let's just shift it a bit morally, so that will be like middle life defense. The spiritual life will be your, I don't know whether I'm speaking right. The spiritual life can also be your first line of defense, but also your last line of defense. Then your moral integrity, which you put in the middle, can be that defense. Can be that defense in a way that, okay, your physical body will know when to stop, will know what to do. Without just that instinct, without even your mind. Let's just say somebody, hopefully, let's just say somebody drunk, or you are in a gathering and then something was wrong. You mistakenly take a drink that was laced with any of hallucinogen or something.
Yeah, you got
this is out of your control. But then what will help you is that your physical, that moral boundary. The spirit will also help your body to stop you from doing anything. But don't forget that you have already trained yourself that, okay, the way you train in your camp, your 21 days camp, that's how you train your body to know its boundaries. Am I supposed to touch a girl in such certain ways? No. Even without your mind being conscious, your body will be conscious until it will come to a point that, okay, you cannot even move your body. Why? Because the body is already trained. It's already disciplined. So you just need discipline and, of course, the grace of God.
Okay, thank you very much. So now what you're saying is you can actually make friends with the opposite gender, but then you have to set boundaries. Thank you very much for that. Mr. Israel, so my question is, at what stage do you get to know that, oh, this friendship is drawing me, is it that drawing me closer to God, or is drawing me away from God? At what stage are you going to tell that your friendship with the opposite gender is either drawing you closer to God or drawing you far away from God?
That's a trick question.
But then you can't go on with that.
Thank you very much. You know that, before you become friends with an opposite gender, and you know the way your spiritual life was. You know the way your spiritual life was before. So when you see that you can no longer pray the way you used to pray before, you no longer read the Bible the way you used to read before, you no longer evangelize the way you used to do before, and the things of God in your life as if they are going down the drain, you know that something is really happening. And then when you can trace it to the friendship that we call like a platonic friendship, is now sapping your spiritual energy. You know that it's time to cut off from that friendship.
Right.
And I think that is very true.
Okay,
but you should not even allow it to get to that point. If you start knowing some little, now, in fact, if you notice that the person you are in friends with, the opposite gender, that is a female, they're actually very emotional. So if you notice that the other person is becoming emotionally attached, in fact, it's time to cut off. Don't even wait for your spiritual life to go down the drain. Cut off so that, number one, you not affect the person, will not be thinking that you are in one kind of ship with her. why you are not in any ship with her.
Okay.
So just cut off so that don't wait for your spiritual life to go down before you cut off.
Okay, from your standpoint, I think I can relate to some extent, because when you are in friends with opposite gender, especially females, we get emotion, like we are so emotionally attached. We are emotional being, though everybody is emotional being, but when it comes to female women, we are so emotional. They say that when you don't set boundaries, then you can get so carried away, start developing feelings for the opposite gender.
Unnecessary kind of thing.
Exactly, you understand. So it can actually draw you when you see that, oh, maybe you're having too much of unnecessary conversation with the person that does not bring value. You get, so you know that, oh, this relationship is not going the direct way or the way it's supposed to be. Thank you very much for that. All right, so there's this other discussion. At what point does friendship with the opposite gender become emotionally or spiritually risky? At what point does friendship with the opposite gender becomes spiritually or emotionally risky? Can you help us with that, please?
All right. There are some notes you need to put in place, or should I say, there are some things you should already know. Though it depends on your background and depends on the teaching you have, either from your religious studies, your religious institution. Some of your religious institution will give you some guidelines on how let's just say wrong it is, how you are going to forward to. But then Gen Zs these days and the people who come after Gen Zs, they really go extra mile.
The Gen X.
Break Gen S. They go extra mile to go and break those boundaries and to break those boundaries. So what you need to do first is to check the Bible,
Yes.
to know some of the boundaries and some of there's a reason why God puts people into the right those things. Let's just say things like dinner, right? I'm supposed to enter a room with a secluded room with a person with the opposite gender. No, that's a no-no, a big red flag.
Okay.
Now, as a core member, as a person who finished from university, you are already built up as a person, as a human being. So there are some boundaries you need to put across, and some of these boundaries, okay, when you start talking with somebody, you talk as strangers first, then you go to familiarity, then you go to friends. Just make sure that that friendship, you dig into it. You do not move forward into, you can be besties, best friends, not exactly have to be the best of friends. When I mean best friends, they are multiple best friends. You can have multiple best friends, but then make sure that that person is not your only, your bestie. Your bestie, it should not be your bestie. That person should not be your bestie, because okay, you can develop a friendship 2 years, and that friendship is spiritual and morally upright.
Okay.
Why? Because you do not go to the next step of putting your emotions first, but putting what? Your friend first. What will God think about this? What will my friend think about this? Think objectively. There are some things that emotion, we talked about emotion, there are some things that emotion will take over your body. Though it's not just female, but also male. Don't be surprised, there are some males that have more emotions than some females. Depends
Of course, we are built differently, yes.
It's different. So, Mr. Israel here might have strong emotions. That's just an assumption. Thank you. That's just an assumption. But then, when a person has a strong emotion, he needs to know himself first. Know yourself so that you can emotionally ground yourself. When I mean ground yourself, you can use logic, you can use scripture, you can use objectivity to tone down your emotions. if even we are not talking about marriage, of course, but even in marriage, there are some times that you need to use objectivity to tone down your emotions. So the basic thing, or from what you have asked, you just need to make sure you know your boundaries. You just need to make sure you tone down your emotions. Yeah, emotions is good, emotion, and it's very good for your body, but then also for your mind. But then you need to know the limit.
Yeah.
You need to tone down. There are some things that you do emotionally when you go after a minute or so. Objectively, you be baffled with yourself. So now, turn that after minutes to before minutes. After minutes to before minutes. Because that after minutes will help you to think objectively.
Okay, thank you very much. So, like, you have to know yourself, so you know your emotional standpoint where you are balanced. Thank you very much for that, and I believe you are all following our viewers. All right, so I want to ask, where do you draw the line when it even comes to in the spiritual aspects, when you are friends with the opposite gender? Do you tend to pray together? Do you study together? Do you do things together? Can you confide, or do you confide in the opposite gender? Mr. Israel, can you help us with that? Where do you draw the line?
Wait, why would you be praying together? Is he your husband and is she your wife?
No,
Why will you be praying together? You know, in fact, it's an error. The Bible made us to understand that you cannot put fire under your buncher and you will not be burned.
it does not necessarily have to be a physical prayer. You can
In fact, never go anywhere to pray together. If another person is not there, two of you should not go anywhere and go and pray together. Don't if another person is not there, don't go anywhere and go and pray together. You understand? And you see, to me personally, in fact, when you have, if it's no work inclined, if it's just normal friendship, if there's no work inclined, you shouldn't be talking to the opposite gender too frequently. In fact, frequent talk can build up, even as a man, if frequent talk can build up an emotion in you that you will feel like every time you are longing to see somebody that you are not thinking of marrying. What is that one?
That's yes, coming to love.
Yes.
And
So what is that one? And then, in fact, if you carry yourself to go and if you carry yourself together to go and play somewhere, the next thing is deliver that you'll do for both of you because something will happen there. So, in fact, I'm not agreeing with that.
So, are you saying that if you have a friend that is the opposite gender, for a female now, there are men that can actually, they are good at listening, and you have friends like that, do you understand? And probably you have an issue that can be sorted out, maybe with someone who just consoling you or just advising you, you get? So are you saying that you can't talk to that individual? Okay, now let's say for example, let me finish this please. For example, we have a general coordinator in our fellowship, and I'm a female. I have a problem that I may not want to share it with the sister welfare.
Why?
Do you understand?
Why?
There are things like that. It happens like that.
Why? The problem, so
Because
the problem,
you know what our mental, or should I say our mentality or something, you'd be like, oh, this person may not really have that thing, you understand? Like she may not be able to, because
do you need
men,
greater capacity to handle your problem?
maybe because men are not built the same way as women, you understand? Especially when it comes to, okay, maybe we are kind of in the same age range, you understand, but she's just the leader as the sister welfare. You know, there are things that sometimes you can just go and hear your problem out there. Do you understand? Like
So
they may not be,
if you tell a brother, so your problem will not go out.
you know, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, because men are actually good at keeping secrets. Like
Yeah, so men
they are
are
actually
not
good at
secret.
you be confiding in them. That's what I'm trying to say. You understand? So are you now saying that we can't, okay, I can't talk to GC that, oh GC, I'm going through this issue and that and that.
GC is not your friend. GC is your spiritual leader. Maybe at the level as a core member or as a student. Just like he's serving as a pastor in place of your pastor.
Okay.
So you can always talk to your pastor. You can always come to your pastor for counseling. The same thing, you can come to GC for counseling, for maybe to share your problem and you pray for it. And I believe this will not carry you to a closer place to go and pray for you. It will be an open place, and sometimes somebody may even be there. The leader may be there to hear you. So now the point I'm trying to make is that you being a friend, maybe sometimes the person is not even a believer, or maybe he's a believer but not a GC, but a worker. And then you are carrying your problem to go and share. If you are sharing the problem, please stay in an open place where everybody is seeing you. Though they are not hearing, but let everybody see you. If you carry your problem, you want to share a problem, and then both of you are in one room, you don't know, the devil is very subtle being. You can just do something there. You now say, we don't know that it will happen like this. I trusted me. You trusted me, but you carry yourself inside that.
So, but most time now, they don't even do like the physical meetup. You can just chat on your phone. Exactly. You can just chat on your phone and I'm going through this and this and this and this. So, and of course, even when you're talking to someone online, it sends, sometimes you can send some signals.
Yes,
do you understand? So how do we even deal with that?
Now, let me give you a practical example. I was a grandmaster while I was in when I was in school. I was a grandmaster when I was in school, and you know, most of my choristers were female. I have male, but most of my choristers were female. So there was this sister in particular that actually she had from a poor background, and she doesn't have money like that all the time to come for practice, because our practice that time, I was a grandmaster in the whole fellowship. We have different branches too. She used to come from there, but sometimes I used to send her money from my purse so that she can. So it's as if she was taking that sending money to another level that I don't know. And one time I was reading around 12, I saw a call. Like, why would this person be calling me by, that kind of stuff now? We are not chatting like that, but I was already thinking of something. So I have to draw some boundary that if she doesn't have transport, I'll tell her to go and meet sister welfare, but I've already sent money. So that kind of thing, even you yourself, but there are some people that will see the signal, but now the devil have already programmed their mind, they have programmed their mind already that they are interested in this thing, and they'll keep going, and when they fall, they'll blame the devil. So when you see the signal, no matter how tiny it is, know that we are supposed to cut off from this, even as a lady.
Okay, thank you
can
very
see
much.
the signal from a man that
this
man will do. Every time he wants to call you by 9 p.m. when he's supposed to be resting, that is when he's calling you. By 10 p.m. when he's supposed to be reading his book. In fact, every time he wants to call you, if it's any man that is calling you that is red flag, in fact, he doesn't have anything meaningful to do with his life. Cut off.
All right, thank you, very blessed. And we should note that it is not a crime or it is not sinful if you have a male friend as a female, or if you have a female friend as a male, because even in the world out there, you get to associate with people of different genders, but then you have to know yourself. Like what Mr. Enowa said, know yourself, so you're able to build your emotional standpoint. So you have to know yourself, you have to guard your heart so that you don't fall into temptation and get lost in it. So thank you so much for watching this episode. Stay tuned, anticipate for the coming episodes. Thank you.